The trouble with being a kid today is you grow up too quickly. There's just not enough time. Well, for some kids, that is.
Where are we this time?
Horrible histories.
Wow!
Horrible histories.
Who would do that?
A smart, hungry caveman. Good idea.
Have any of you seen a girl about so tall, big, cartoony eyes? Oh, you gotta go.
You gotta go. And where's Stitch? I can't find him anywhere. Wow! Socrates rocks.
Is that the Spanish Armada?
Horrible histories. Horrible histories. Horrible histories.
Well, Mo, what do you think about all this cool old stuff?
We're history.
All right, Mo, our history project is gonna rock.
Yeah, the Vikings is a brilliant topic.
Well, well, the two of you are partnered for yet another project.
Darren Dongle.
Well, who's your project partner?
No one. I didn't want a partner.
Haha, couldn't get anyone, eh?
None of your business.
Easy, don't pop a pocket protector. What topic did you choose anyway?
Vikings.
What? How come? The Vikings is our topic, one per team?
I gave some sob story about wanting to explore my Scandinavian heritage. You see, I thought it would be ironic for my project to feature the great Viking conquerors, because at Monday's presentation, I'm going to be conquering you.
This isn't happening.
Dongle's gonna bury us. We can't compete with him.
Get a hold of yourselves.
You again?
Don't you see, Darren will focus on the Vikings of conquest, but he's overlooking the most important Vikings of all, the Viking explorers. You've got to go back.
Oh, and you gotta go.
You gotta go.
Sheesh. Isn't there a historical period with warm things to land on?
Yeah, when was the cozy slipper era?
Sorry, kids. Time travel does have its ugly side.
No kidding. I'd qualify this as a fashion don't.
Whoa, it's like 1,000,000 below out here. Ow, ow, my nose hairs are freezing up. Where are we anyway?
Well, if my calculations are correct, it's a snowy hill in the middle of nowhere. Hey!
It's not nowhere. It's Bratild, Greenland. And this is not a hill. This is my home.
Yes, the year is 1000. Trees were scarce in frigid Viking habitats such as Iceland and Greenland. Houses were built using rocks, driftwood, even a mound of earth. It may seem odd, but living in a dirt mound did have its advantages. What am I saying? No, it didn't.
And a very nice home it is, too. Very earthy.
Yeah, hey, some people build a little house on a hill. You just, took it one step further, Mrs.,
They call me Olga the Stout. Now be quiet. Hey, you two are not from Bratild. I will take you to the thing.
Could you be a little more specific?
Well, lads, the thing was the name for the Viking assembly. You know, like the court your dad goes to pay his parking fines, enforcing local laws and things like that.
I will ask the leader of the thing, Eric the Red. He will know what to do with you.
Stitch, I've heard of Eric the Red. He's a famous Viking explorer, so he can give us the info for our project.
Sounds like a plan, Mo.
You might want to be careful there, lads. Eric is famous for his hot temper. In fact, in 982, he got into an argument with a neighbour and did a rather unneighbourly thing.
He, didn't return a garden tool?
No. When the argument ended, Eric the Red was convicted of murder and sent into exile. That's when he sailed off with his family and friends and discovered Greenland.
Maybe the three of us should just go and grab an ice cream or something.
hand this woman is rough.
Rough? That's nothing. The Vikings didn't exactly tiptoe through the tulips. As a matter of fact, from the time they were born, their lives were centered around fighting. As children, instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic, they learned wrestling, running, and clobbering everybody in the vicinity. These Norse warriors loved their weapons and even gave them names like Leg Biter, Gleam of Battle, and Leslie. Okay, not Leslie, but you get the idea. For financial gain, most Vikings raided and pillaged. For food, they hunted and farmed. For fun, they enjoyed games, such as the Follyfoot matches, where ponies would be enclosed in a circular pen and fight to the death. And this is when everyone's getting along. Most Vikings lived a life of aggression and brutality because they saw it as the only way to survive in a harsh climate.
Wow, I bet Darren's never seen anything like this.
Let's talk more dragging.
Yes, well, to the Thing we go, where a meeting of the Viking Assembly is already well underway.
And I tell you, my Viking brethren, my heart soared like an owl upon the north wind. That moment when I, Eric the Red, first beheld the new land. I've relived that exalted memory 1,000 times.
So have we.
The favourite pastime of the Vikings was the reciting of sagas. From the Icelandic word for stories, a saga was a heroic tale often passed down for generations, depicting scenes of great heroism and majesty.
Women aren't allowed. Except for criminals and trespassers.
Leif was only 2 years old then, yeah, running around the longboat, naked as a penguin.
So this is the thing?
Who dares interrupt the Thing?
Guess so.
Strangers, eh? Where do you come from? Do you know what we do to strangers? Speak up, by Odin!
You want me to stand by Odin? Which one is he?
Don't know who Odin is.
Of course we do. He was the Viking Prime Minister or something. You know, somebody high up.
They are not of the Vikings.
They are Saxon spies! Seize them!
What? I quit the saxophone years ago. It made my lips swell up.
No. Saxons were the people who occupied what we now call England. The Saxons were sworn enemies of the Vikings. As for Odin, he was the king of the Norse gods.
Where was this information 30 seconds ago?
Sorry, I was looking at the stuff on the walls. Here you go.
Hello, this is Olaf Njordsen with another edition of Lifestyles of the Norse and Godly. This week we travel to the exotic Valhalla that the Vikings believed was their heaven. There we get to peek at the day in the luxurious life of Odin, the leader of the many Norse gods. Odin sits outside his splendorous Valhalla paradise from which he can see anywhere in the world. But you don't have to see that far to know that this is one Norse god who has it all. It's now time for a hearty battle, and Odin has some rough customers to fight. Tonight, Odin is the victor in this bloody battle, but all of his opponents will magically come back to life. Here in Valhalla, it's always another party and always another fight for the king of the Norse gods, Odin. Till next time, this is Olaf Njordsen, wishing you all Valkyrie nights and whale blubber dreams.
You are Saxon spies and must be dealt with.
Oh, you're in big trouble now. You gave yourselves away not knowing the Viking gods. Now they think you're Saxons. The sentence for being a Saxon spy is death.
Sentence is death? Whoa, wait a minute. We were just talking here.
He's right. What are we doing? Violence doesn't solve anything.
That's right. He kills me.
Ha ha ha! in the bog pit.
The what?
There were two preferred methods of Viking execution. One was to throw the offender, that would be you two, into a pit of tar or quicksand. There, the offender, again you, would slowly be swallowed up and suffocated.
What was the other method?
It was to forgive them and set them free.
Really?
No, not really. It was beheading.
Oi, mate, you've been at it a while. Psst. You know, sharpening the axe, cleaning the old chopping block.
Yeah, you're working too hard. Take a break.
Oh, that's okay. When you love your work, it doesn't really feel like work, you know.
And I looked out across the sweeping tundra and dubbed it Greenland. For I knew that when the winter ended, the sheets of ice would melt, leaving miles and miles of green, fertile earth.
That was 20 years ago, Dad.
Oh, I've heard just about enough out of you, mister.
I've heard just about enough out of you, mister.
Okie doke, that's it. You and I are going to have a little discussion.
Well, what if I don't want to?
You'll do what I say and like it, young man. You're getting a little too big for your kirtle these days.
Get a move on, now's our chance.
Yeah, getting ahead, or losing one for that matter, is definitely not worth an A on a history project. Let's go hide behind Odin.
Everybody else my age gets to invade and plunder. But do I get to plunder? No. I'm a Viking that doesn't even get to go Viking.
Go Viking? I thought they were Vikings.
Oh, I actually know this. Viking comes from the Scandinavian word vik, meaning harbour. To go a Viking meant to sail into harbours and perform raids on coastal settlements.
Thanks for telling me now. If you knew this before, why didn't you warn me?
Sorry, I was looking at stuff on the walls.
Not another word, Leif. The last time I gave you an expedition, you got lost, dented my longboat, and converted your mother to Christianity.
Eric, come there. We'll be late for church.
Oh, come in there. For the love of Odin.
Come on, Father. Just one little voyage.
By the golden shores of Valhalla, I say, I forbid it! And take out the garbage.
It's not fair. Come here, you Saxon spies.
Leaf, we understand your dad's just bummed about the dented car.
Longboat?
All I do is listen to his saga of blah, 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 discovery, Greenland this, blah, blah, Greenland that. I just want one little voice, and he won't even consider it.
Yeah, but your dad's cool. I mean, wow, he discovered this whole country, Greenland, which is not that big a deal when you really think about it.
That's it! Now I know what I must do. I hereby swear, by the frozen fur of a polar bear's private region, I am going to launch my own voyage of discovery. My friend Bjarni Hjörlofsson is always talking about a body of land he saw one time when he was lost. It had all the stuff we need. Trees, fertile soil. I can discover it and be a hero. Boy, my father will be impressed. I should kill you, but I spare your lives only because I need rowers in the boat. Now!
We're doomed. We couldn't navigate a rubber ducky across a bathtub.
It's either that or take a holiday from our heads. Darren couldn't possibly compete with this kind of stuff. We're actually going on a voyage with a famous Viking explorer.
You two are a little scrawny for rowing. I just don't know if I should let you come.
Aw, come on, Leaf, let us. Get it? Leaf, let us? Oh, come on, this is comedy gold, people.
The Vikings didn't have lettuce. In fact, they hardly had any vegetables at all. Their diet consisted mostly of meats and grains. Their only fruits were apples and berries, and their only sweetener was honey. Sunrise and the promise of new and unexplored lands lies just beyond the horizon. And the greatest explorer of the Viking Age is about to lead a voyage that will go down in history.
Stitch, would you pay attention? You're messing up the rhythm.
Well, excuse me for rowing. I'm just freezing my tunic off.
Okay, okay.
And as our time-traveling heroes sail into the future, well, the past, you know, because they're in the past, so even if they sail into the future, it's still... oh, forget it. We return to the voyage of exploration, and as our bold adventurers cruise the briny, the newest members of the Viking tribe share some ways to pass the time.
Let's see. Is this person a Viking?
Is he on this voyage?
Is it Leif Erikson?
How you guess?
Oh, well, you've used him the last 5 times.
Saxon ships ahead!
As you may recall, the one thing the Vikings hated more than a dull sword was their sworn enemies, the Saxons. Hey, this is a great time to talk about the Viking Age of Conquest, because fighting the Saxons was, well, kind of a running theme. In 787, 3 boatloads of Vikings landed on the coast of England. A Saxon tax officer ordered them before the king. The Vikings knocked them off and must have thought, hey, these blokes are pushovers, because 6 years later, in 793, the Vikings launched their first attack on a Saxon monastery, ransacking the place, stealing everything of value, and enslaving or drowning the monks inside. Also in 793, a raiding Viking army was defeated and their king's body was sent back to Norway.
We got the package, we got the package. Oh.
The Vikings stayed away for 40 years, but in 851, the Vikings returned with a vengeance. The Viking raids were very productive, but tiring. In 865, some bright Viking got the idea of demanding Dane gold, which meant, you guessed it, demanding large sums of money from England in exchange for not attacking them. In 878, Danish King Guthrum tried to take over England, but the Saxon King Alfred wiped the floor with him. The Treaty of Chippenham was established, dividing England in 2, Vikings to the north and English to the south. This was supposed to stop them from fighting each other.
Hoist sail! Prepare for battle!
Hey, what gives? They said sailing. They didn't say sailing and, oh yeah, someone might kill you.
Well, hey, maybe they'll need a couple of referees.
Show yourselves, Saxons!
In the late 800s, the Saxon King Alfred realized that while the Vikings were nearly unstoppable on land, their boats were small and not built for battle. Viking longboats were often called dragon ships because of the frightful creatures carved into the bowsprits. The Vikings put them there to scare away the evil spirits that might try to sabotage their voyages, but they couldn't keep the Saxons away.
I get it. The Saxons nailed them when they were waterborne. Oh, man, we're gonna lose. We've got to tell Leif to get us out of here.
I think we should wait on that. But now is good, too.
Cowards! The Saxons have fled! Victory is ours! But your cowardness is a treasonable offense, punishable by death!
Here we go again.
Spare us, Leif, please. Pretty please. Aw, come on, Leif, let us. Get it? Leif, let us.
Leif! Look! Land!
By Thor's hammer, it is so. My brothers, today is a momentous day. We have arrived at the newfound land. I will call it Newfound Land.
Vikings are very literal.
Good work, men. It's your lucky day, scrawny ones. The new world awaits. What a great way to ring in the new millennium.
That's right, lads. Leif Erikson arrived in the Americas in the year 1000. About 500 years before anyone else from Europe ever showed up.
Chris Columbus is gonna be majorly cheesed off.
No doubt.
I set foot upon this new ground and claim it for the glory of the Vikings. And also, to make my father really proud. The new land is ours. Let there be feasting and celebrations and, you know, fighting and stuff.
Yeah, the fighting and the stuff, yeah.
I reckon that's our cue.
On the ball. Think you've got enough for your project presentation?
Let's just say we know one know-it-all who's gonna be very surprised come Monday morning.
Later, Leaf!
Yeah, good luck with the new digs.
And so, the mighty Viking king, Harold Godwinson, fell. But no one will ever forget the bloody age of Viking villainy and brutality brought on by these vicious vandals that we call the Vikings!
First of all, thank you, Darren, for that colorful, if a bit narrow presentation.
Yes, for our project, we'd like to cover the full spectrum of these intriguing Vikings, showing them not just as vile conquerors, but also bold adventurers and some of the first explorers that ever sailed the sea.
And by the way, Darren, the horned helmet is a bit of a cliche. You see, the Vikings didn't wear those in everyday life or in battle, only in ceremonies. Now, where were we, Mo? Ah, yes, beginning with Eric the Red, great Viking explorer. A little grouchy, but generally a nice guy.